1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the ATX Metal Podcast. I'm Ryan, your host, and we are here with the Poacher gang. That's not the exact name. It's just Poacher. It's not the Poacher gang. They ain't coming to get you unless they're going to bring you to a show, which they have one coming up soon that we're going to get into. Go around the room, guys. Introduce yourself, where you're from, what you do in the band, and then we'll just go from there.
Cool. I'm Nate. I am originally from Dallas, but I've been in Austin for about 15 years. I play guitar. Ian?
I'm Ian. I'm originally from Virginia Beach, Virginia, on the East Coast. I've been in Austin since 2013. I play bass.
What's up, y'all? I'm Johnny. I play drums, and I'm born and raised in Austin my whole life. Never been anywhere else.
All right.
Nice.
All right. So we basically have two true Texans and then two Texan adjacent guys. Ian, how long you been here? We've been here about the same time, right?
2013, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm 20, bought a house 2012, but officially lived here 2010, 2012. But anyway,
Okay.
enough about me. So,
Yeah.
All right. So Poacher is new to me as a band, and I can't remember how I found you. It definitely is on Instagram. Maybe I saw the flyer for the upcoming show, and I just wanted to check out the music. And I got to say, it's definitely in the vein of, yes, please give me more. Whoever can take this first, give us just a little brief bio about Poacher's, origin stories, maybe, for fans of, just introduce Poacher to the people.
I guess I'll take that one. I had always just wanted to do a hardcore band. Champ, the guy that screams, he's not on. Him and I had talked about that extensively, and it took us forever to get anybody else. Nate was gracious enough to, play guitar with us. Same with Johnny. Thank you so much, both of you. But yeah, it's just an idea of being just as aggressively ignorant as we can, still remain in the vein of writing good, heavy songs, but, not worry about the veneer of anything else other than just kind of wanting to punish ourselves on, musically. Hopefully, that's what I feel. I can let someone else, talk about how they kind of view it, but that's how I view it. Bands that we like, Nails, obviously. We all grew up with some of us grew up with a lot of older thrash, things like that. We all have our own little influences, but I'd say, just stripped down, pissed music. So that's my thought. Yeah.
So maybe just, if you're going through some stuff, you could go to a Poacher show. Like maybe there's some shit going on at the office and you really can't do anything because it'll lead to an HR case. So you go to the show and then you invite them to the show and be like, have you ever heard of a mosh pit? And then I feel like there's this legal barrier there. Dogs are, welcome home, dear.
Welcome home, yep.
So, Nate, if you were standing on the corner selling Sorrow and also Poacher CDs, how would you convince them to come to the show?
Oh, man, that's a big question. I guess
Sorry, loaded.
No, it's all good. I mean, it is, to me, to my ear, it's pretty visceral, there was when we were writing the EP, there was a very distinct goal to not overthink things and make sure that we are kind of keeping things simple but really aggressive. And so, if that's your thing, you'll probably have a good time at the show. I mean, I would honestly probably sell the other bands that are playing with us more because I'm such a huge fan of all of them. So I'm just yeah, my band's playing, but there's all these great bands,
Oh man, Johnny, what's your sales pitch to the people?
I mean, if you like music that's super punishing, super aggressive, I think visceral is a good word. It's for you. As far as the style we're trying to achieve goes, there's a lot there, man. There's a really, really, really focused HM2 chainsaw guitar tone. There's really driving bass. There's super pissed, aggressive vocals. Like, I think it's something that like a metal fan would really enjoy for sure, you know?
Well, guys, I'm definitely sold, and I will try to do my best to pitch this the rest of the way we go. But I would like to know, since I feel like we've all been here for a pretty long time, especially Johnny, you've been here your entire life. And real quick, Nate, you said you were from Dallas, like, so you've been in Texas your entire life as well?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so we have true Texans. The one thing that I would like to talk about is something that is kind of just going episode by episode is what is the way that you guys see your local music scene where you're currently at? And then for those that obviously are from here, what would you like to see come back that you feel like was lost? And I'll just go first, just for context, so you guys can kind of think about it. Because I feel like if we can figure out what's lost and how to bring it back, we can tie that together with the community growth and all of that. So I just really want to get like a native Texan, homegrown, local artist take on, yeah, I would like to see. So for me, I would like to see, and it's funny that we mentioned selling demos on the corner, is I'm trying to get together the support your scene. Come and Take It did it once, where it was like 10 bands, 13 tracks. Everybody donated. Designs was on there. Beard the Lion. Who else? I got it. The stack of CDs is here somewhere. I'll find it later. But the idea was to hand out demos at the, I miss seeing that. And with today's, automated playlist and algorithms feeding you, brother, I have to go to some weird bands to kind of just get a fresh take on new music. So I would like to see the demos handed out at the end of shows with maybe just one band, on a burnt CD with Sharpie style, just the way, I used to get it. But that's what I would like to see come back. And I feel like that would help introduce bands to people that have, your music would not get in front of them had they not had this physical thing. What about you, Nate? How about you? Have you got anything?
Yeah. So honestly, my history, like in Dallas, I was from suburbs, it was about a 40-minute drive to Dallas proper.
Okay.
So there wasn't much of a heavy scene to speak of where I'm from. So a lot of my interactions with metal were at a larger scale, like bigger shows. I think that is something that I would like to see, but like with good bands, because I think the state of like mainstream metal right now is pretty abysmal. It's really bad. So, for being from Dallas, the big one that everybody talks about is Pantera. And, I would just like to see larger bands that have, a similar style of aggression and musical integrity. Of course, the individual members of Pantera have their issues or whatever you want to say. But, from a musical perspective, I think that level of aggression is kind of missing from the mainstream right now. My interactions with the local scene have been actually pretty recent. I got sober in 2022 and started playing music then. I was always playing guitar.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude.
I was always playing guitar, but was kind of more of a fan of bands. Whenever I moved to Austin and first heard like Glassing, that was huge for me. I mean, I think that they were really doing something really interesting. So I was kind of a fan. I would, go to shows, and then I needed a hobby, to kill some time that I had all of a sudden found myself with. So I played in a band that was kind of like more progressive leaning, and slowly but surely wanted to do something a little bit more traditionally aggressive. So I played in another band called Plague Cross. That's kind of like a blackened hardcore thing. And then, Ian hit me up randomly. We were supposed to play a show, but Playcross had to drop off. And so, but Ian, I think, just knew that I played guitar and wanted to see if something would happen. So all of that to say is that like my interaction in a local scene is like healthier than ever. And I'm like almost 40, which seems weird because a lot of people get involved in this type of thing earlier, but I'm kind of fresh faced to it, but I'm really enjoying it.
Cool. I can tell you as an also 40-year-old guy it's one of these things where you don't really have to keep up with the youngins in terms of like, physicality, but like keeping up with the young ones. Like now the people that I've been hanging out with for a decade now are they're like the elder emo kids trying to help the young guys try to get, their foot in the door and put them on a bill that they're playing. So I'm with you that my interaction, even at the age of 42, is actually better now than in the past. Johnny, what about you? What you got, brother?
Yeah, man. So I guess like something I'd like to see more of, like something I play in a lot of bands, so and I tour pretty frequently. Something I see in a lot of other cities is a lot of like, total inclusivity with like music styles, and like it's like everything can be good because a lot of it's all those people have, like in small towns on the East Coast or the Midwest, when you go play a show, there can be all kinds of bands. And in Austin, we have such a prolific scene. And I mean, I've seen this my whole life, right? Like we have such a prolific scene, and it's so active all the time. Like, I mean, every night there's, on any given night in Austin, there's like 100 gigs or something. I think that's like the number I saw in the Chronicle one time or something.
I would believe that.
Yeah. And it's like, at least for me, I can't speak on like everybody that lives here or everybody that's from here. Like, it's something that like you can kind of very easily take for granted, right? Like like having a band or having a bill with 4 of the best metal bands in the city that play this one type of thing. I think like here, it like something I'd love to see more of is just embracing mixed bills. I think it opens up so many doors for people. It's like creatively, especially. Oh my God. Like, I found some of my favorite bands I've ever heard of in my life, like discovering a new style of music, like just at a show listening to a band that is maybe something I wouldn't listen to otherwise, but I'm playing with them here in like Des Moines, Iowa or something like that, so I think like, just like keeping an open mind to music is like such an important thing, I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ian, what about you, brother? You're actually, hold on one second. Okay, so I think what Johnny is getting at is Austin needs to have a more receptiveness to mixed bill shows, and not just, a hardcore show with a metalcore in the middle, or a, shoegaze with you know what I mean? So I'm really proud of this one. This one was fucking fun. And Ian was there. And so I try my hardest every year to throw a legitimate mixed bill genre bending show. And, this year it's, I guess I'll go ahead and announce it now. So we do have our headliner for this year's show. They just confirmed yesterday, and I'm proud to say that it is a Texas native local. I won't say where from just yet. We also have other bands that are confirmed and a couple maybes out there, but it's definitely going to be a fun one. And I'm excited to kind of hear you say that, because I also think that even, the shows that I go to are primarily at Come and Take It, just because that's my sponsor. But I continuously promote places like Chess Club and Valhalla and Mohawk, and the places that are still thriving downtown, right? Ian, what have you seen that you would also like to try to either bring back or incorporate from yesteryear to today?
I think Johnny was right. Like the mixed bill, like it. You always want to be supportive of your scene, but seeing like 5 bands that all have like indiscernible logos, especially if it's metal, like it just becomes like vocal fry on the ears when you've heard that just intense level of volume over and over again, which, it's not, that could be cool, but I I don't know. I love seeing like, I don't know, an indie band with a heavy band, with a spastic band, with an
Yes.
aggressive band. Like it doesn't always have to be like that, but I do love any type of mixed bill. It's the way it was. I hate when people say the way it
Yeah.
was
The
back.
way
It
it
just sounds,
was.
but it's true. Like that was really the way you could see a band like Frail, who I'm not even a fan of. It was just this kind of very spazzy screamo stuff with like bang, and it was just like it's hard to man. Hopefully, it's coming back. I think Austin also has a very like segregated scene.
Yes.
There's this type of music here, this over here. Nobody crosses over unless it's like a bigger show. Like when Converge came, it's
Oh, yeah.
Converge and Poison the Well, and it's like there's like 1,000 people, and it's
Mhm.
like, oh, 1,000 people love this type of music, and I get it, you can't be in a smaller independent band and expect everyone to come out on a Wednesday night. But it also does feel like Austin is sort of I think it has the potential to have a really good scene, but I feel like it is, like I said, segregated, fractured. You're
Mhm.
not going to have a lot of people come out to all of the local shows. Again, that's just life. But other places, it seems like back on the East Coast that, they'll have a show and 100 kids, no matter what, will come out just because they just want to experience a show. So I don't know, but I'm a part of that as well. I'm not going to every show. I'm not out there like being a scenester. So it's a hard one. It's a hard one. I want more like solidarity in the scene, but I understand why there's not a lot of times. We're all adults. We all have jobs. Can't be out at every show on a Tuesday night. But that's also a bad excuse.
Yeah. You're
I
like,
think
well, I've got a job, and the guy playing the show is like, I've got 2, maybe a third on the way. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I know. That's why it's a bad excuse and I don't like it.
I don't, and I don't think that that's I even wouldn't call it an excuse. That's just Ian's life. Like you
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
me as doing this as my hobby, I almost have myself, like I put myself like, you need to go to more shows. You need to be out there in the mix. And I'm sure everybody feels that way, but sometimes like, dude, gas prices are expensive. So I'm not trying to like burn up, the fuel that I'm using to go to work. Like, it's like I either put gas in the tank to go to the show, or I'm not going to work on Friday. I mean, sometimes it's that serious for some people,
Yeah.
and I don't want anybody to lose sight of that. And sometimes those people making those decisions are the artists making those decisions. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to this show. I'm
Yeah.
playing this show. I'll hopefully we sell some merch or get $30 from the door because of our ticket sales, and then I can put that back in my gas tank and go to work and da 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 da. So I've heard a lot of horror stories, and I think that, like you said, the mixed bill, the not so much segregation of the scene, but just, I don't know, you may call it cliquey, but I think it's more or less, from what I've seen, it's the people that have grown up together here locally that are still just kind of like, that's comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's why I like my position, is because even though I am, you know, a what's the word I'm looking for? I'm a guy that knows people here, but I'm also a transplant, and I didn't really get to grow up with these people like, Nate and Johnny did. I mean, God knows you guys have probably seen plenty of friends come and go in the metal scene or the music scene, and you're like, I wonder what that guy's doing, and he's probably living in El Paso or out in somewhere doing like a fucking oil rig contract or something. But not that that's not a specific story. I just made that up.
It can be such a disappointment too, because like, I mean, I've had friends that have been in bands that I think are like legitimately groundbreaking and like awesome, and you know, for whatever reason it doesn't go. Maybe it's too niche or something like that. But like, I mean, I think anybody can tell you that like if I'm a fan of your band, I'm gonna like really wave the flag for that band.
There you go.
And I think that yeah, I mean, I've just had a bunch of friends that were doing like more mathy stuff, like math rock essentially. But
Yeah.
a bunch of buddies of mine were in a band named Ballerino back in the day, and like and like they were so good. It was crazy. And then like, you know, just whatever interband politics or whatever, they disbanded, and I still go back and listen to their first EP all the time. So yeah, I think it can be such a bummer when you have people that are just like, this was like actually legitimately great, and then for whatever dumb reason it just kind of disbands. It can be disappointing.
Johnny, do you have something?
One
You're good.
second.
We can hear you.
You're good.
Okay, sorry, I had a little technical difficulty there.
It's okay.
Yeah, but no, I mean that scenario, I've seen that scenario happen of like literally like a dude leaving the scene to go like work on an oil rig, or you know, like go do some crazy contract work. Or like, yeah, go to like, I don't know, some kind of like, I don't know. But yeah, it's a bummer. Like when like losing bands, like losing like pillars of the scene to just like life, man. I don't know. It's like a painful part of growing up. It's like death. Like it's like a painful part of growing up. It's just like, yeah, people are just gonna come and go from your community, you know.
No, I've definitely seen the business end of, you know, bands coming and going and staying and swapping members and then trying it out and then swapping more members and then trying it out again. And oh, it finally clicks. So, you know, like people have told me you treat the band like a business, but you also treat the band, you know, like a family. I mean, obviously you're not going to be in a room with a lot of people for an extended period of time if you don't like them. And then just, you know, over time, things change, people change. That's just life. But
I think
yeah, go ahead.
I think one thing that I really like about Poacher specifically is that like I think this is the band that I've been in that has like the most drive to accomplish
Nice.
something. We were just talking about Ian brought this up the other day of how like we can have really frank conversations about like what we want to do next because we're all on the same page of like, you know, there's not like a personal aspect to this. We're all cool. We have a good time. We hang out in the practice space and we get along great. But like when it comes to making a decision or having a tough conversation, it actually comes pretty easily to us because we're all on the same page about what we want to be doing, and how we want to drive this forward as much as possible. Which I would say that, you know, for anybody starting a band, like it's a great thing to have, to be on the same page with people as far as what you want to accomplish. Like whether you
Oh,
want to be a
absolutely.
hobbyist or do you want to actually get out there and play shows and do all the annoying administrative work that comes with being in a band.
Who's the, yeah, I'm not because you're probably the oldest Ian, but are you the band dad? I just have to ask.
No,
Oh,
it's Nate. I'd say
Nate.
Nate. Like
Nate's the
Nate
band
does.
dad?
Yeah.
I think we all, I even, when he talked about, I mentioned something, I had mentioned also like that I like that everyone is contributing in some factor. Somebody is like, hey, I'm doing this. Hey, I'm looking at this. Hey, I've got a contact over here. It's
Good.
not just one person who's trying to manage the band. And if, you know, they don't say anything, nobody says anything. You know, it's everyone's kind of like, hey, what are we doing? What's going on? Everybody has like a general interest to progress forward. So that can be rare in a band as well. And there doesn't, you know, there's no egos. And I think it's because it feels like we're trying to do it the way it was done again back in the day. It was just like, we're going to play shows, we're going to try and record, we're going to put out shirts, and that's that. You know, it doesn't seem like there's this crazy marketing strategy or, you know, Instagram push. It's just like, we're just going to do it and try and melt faces. And that's that.
I think
I hope.
no, you will. You will. I mean, this album, I can never remember the name of it because this album, they never saw it coming. The latest album by Poacher. Go out and literally buy it. Don't just stream it. You got to buy it. Own that shit. Because next thing you know, they're going to start putting tier systems on you. And like, would you like to listen to your favorite band? $5 more a month, and you can unlock all of ATX. And it's like, give me a vinyl. So
Yeah.
That being said, if anybody wants to put our record out on vinyl,
just shameless plug. Just it brought to you by.
hey, you know.
No. So real quick, yeah. So you guys do have vinyls? Did I hear that?
No,
right?
no. That's
we're
definitely
working-
something. Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead, Nate. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say we have cassettes that are in production right now. So
Awesome.
in the next like month or so, we'll have some.
Sign me up. But yeah, we'll plug that again at the end. But I wanted to touch on what Ian said. It's not a hard equation. It's worked. It worked, back in the day, and it works up until today. You go to shows. And I'm talking from a fan perspective. I mean, you guys obviously have your perspective of jamming and doing merch, and so all of the effort that you're putting into it to play and promote. I feel like the other side of that coin should be as active as you guys are in going to the shows and buying the merch and getting the cassette tapes, because it's all cyclical like that. This is the best money laundering scheme ever invented. Like bands make music and invest in their shit, and then they buy this and they go to the shows. We buy the tickets, we buy the merch, and all that money goes right back into the band. I mean, it just wouldn't quite call it money laundering, but it comes and goes. But with the new album, so this is the only music that exists currently. Okay, and then I guess we'll talk about more down the road coming.
Oh yeah, I think my big thing is bands will record and then they won't do anything for like another year and a half, and they'll put out another, sprinkling of songs. And I think we're lucky. So I think we need to. My personal thought is, stay in the studio as much as we can without hopefully
Johnny's there
watering
now.
it down. Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, I'm ready to go, guys. I'm ready to go. Just send the tracks. I'll start flying them in.
Yeah, dude. Just
I will say too,
man, just let me know. I got the drum set up.
Yeah, that's another thing that kind of comes along with like the scene, is that we all have like kind of a network of people that have really helped us out on this record specifically. Like I got to shout out Jake Redding and Alex Young. Jake engineered and mastered our album and let us record at the Spectre Studios up in Cedar Park for a very reasonable price. And Alex, who had recently mastered the Atomic Rule records, mixed and mastered, I think, the Atomic Rule records, mixed our EP, and like it sounds the way it does because of those people. And like those are all homies. Like Ian knows Alex, I know Jake, and they were, and of course, like Johnny has, he works a lot with Andrew Hernandez and Tim. He's in a band with Tim Hayward, who worked there at Johnny. What's the name of that studio? Is there a name for what
Andrew? We call it like Arroyo Audio.
Arroyo Audio. Yeah. So like, I mean, we're all just like homies that are trying to enable each other to make cool stuff, and I think that's really important. Like when you're in a band, is not to like take advantage of each other, because you probably have something to offer other people that they might not be aware of, whether it's like graphic design. I think that's kind of like the DIY personality, is like you don't have to do everything in band, but you want to do everything in your scene and like give people work, as opposed to outsourcing it to whatever for cheaper.
Yeah, the in-network homie price, just not like the way medical people do it. Like, sorry, you're not in network. We can't work with you.
Yeah,
oh God, insurance makes me nuts. But new music also makes me get a little crazy. What was Johnny? I'm gonna let you go first, since we're gonna let you speak a little more for the delay. What was your favorite part about writing this? I'm sorry, let me go backwards. What is your favorite part about being in Poacher and getting to write, or be in the room with them writing? I guess I should say, how does the writing process work for Poacher? And Johnny, what's your take on that?
So we've really, as far as writing goes, like we haven't written anything new since I've joined, but like the conversation started immediately, and it was a very quick to the point conversation, which is not something that always happens when you're talking writing, which was a huge green flag for me, and that already is one of my favorite parts of playing in this band, is that we all have like the same general ideas, and man, I mean, as far as like playing, like my favorite part about being in the band goes, I mean, like there's kind of like a lot of reasons why I wanted to join this band when Nate asked me to. And like, I think the biggest thing, and like the biggest reason, and the thing that still is like my favorite thing about playing in the band, is that it's with three guys that, like, going into it, I didn't really know very well. Like, I had known Champ like for a few years. Like, we had spoken online, I don't know, 5-6 years ago quite a bit, and then met in person later on. And then I had recently met Nate, just our other bands playing shows together and stuff. And I hadn't even met Ian yet. Like, I'd known of Cult Burner, obviously, and we had a lot of like the same friends, and I have a ton of respect for that. But it's three other dudes in the scene I have a ton of respect for, and like especially creatively, man. Like, it's such an easy band to be in, and I just really, really, really am enjoying myself a lot.
Well, we've got the debut show. I had to make a mental note of it. We've got the debut show for Poacher on July 10th at Chess Club. Nate, who else is on the bill with you guys, and how much is it to get in?
I think it's $12 to get in. We have a pretty sick lineup, if I do say so myself. It's Johnny's other band, The High Cost of Playing God, which is a fantastic band. We have, we have Poacher, obviously.
Shout out.
Shout out, yeah.
Just that 5-second delay shout out. So it's so good. I love it.
It sounded like we were shouting out Poacher. We also have Chest Pain. Yeah, shout out.
I'm sorry. This. Oh my God. For everybody that's listening, because we do this on video as well. Johnny has a 5-second delay, which we're gonna clean all this up. But I feel like I'm gonna let this section stay just so people get the point. There is a 5-second delay for some reason on Johnny's end. So when he chimes in, we're already, anyway, you get it. It's just, I'm sorry. It's the small things. I'm sorry to interrupt your
no, you're
show
good.
stuff,
You're good.
man. I'm sorry.
You're good. So we got High Cost of Playing God, legendary Austin power violence band Chest Pain is also on the bill, and Imminent End, who is, I don't know, Johnny, how would you describe an Imminent End sound? They're somewhat grindy, I think.
They're like straight up probably like my favorite band in town right now. They're incredible. They're just like, it's just down-tuned, like disgusting grind with like incredible vocals, like absolutely punishing riffs. They're also like kind of an HM2 band, also, which, you gotta love it, represent the the chainsaw. They're incredible. Like, if you haven't seen them and you're in Austin, you have to see Imminent End.
What was the last
insane.
part? Imminent what?
Imminent End, END. Yeah, they're awesome. I'm really excited to play with them.
See, and that's another reason why I love talking to, I'll just say, like, bands like you guys, I don't, oh man, how do I, it's like, I'm trying to like phrase this right. Bands like y'all, I wish I would have known about 5 years ago, just in the vein of just the style of shows that you guys play. I wasn't into the chaos. I wasn't into the math. It hadn't hit me yet. Up until Mammoth, I don't know, I did Mammoth Fest 3, and I got to see Thumbscrew do their very last show, like very, very last show, because apparently they had a show in San Antonio that was the last one. Then they're like, fuck it, let's do one more. And that's where I met like Steak Sauce Mustache. It's just a really fucking cool to find new music and it to actually be good, and it's actually a good live set. And that's where I think bands like in y'all's orbit really fucking make the sales pitch is like the music could be mid, but that show is going to be up here always. And I applaud you guys for, pushing the limits on not only the sound, but the show. Cause that's what it is, man. It's a, man, I want to walk out of there like, what the fuck did I just witness? Holy cow. And I've done that on just rare few occasions, and it's really cool to be able to do that. And, I mean, just seeing how excited Johnny got about Imminent End, and he's like, they're the best in town. And my dumb ass is like, never heard of them. But that's just my ignorance. But Johnny, thank you for that. And what was the other one? Chest pain. Did I get that right?
Chest pain. Yeah.
Cool, man. Thank you for. And this is how it works, right? Now I'm gonna reach out to them and drag them over here and play them on the Texas Takeover, and see what happens. I love it. I love it. Sorry, this is just me. Just if there's like heart emojis, right?
You said something that resonated with me a little bit, like I kind of getting into more aggressive, like if I understood correctly, like a little bit more aggressive styles of hardcore or punk and metal, like later, and like I'm right there with you because like, I mean, I've always been into like the bands that kind of break through those genres, like Nails, like that was a big one for me, for going on like 12 years now or something. But like, I didn't really dive into the style as much, or like the bands that kind of are in that aura, or the other members' bands. And so like, dude, I've been listening to like death metal for like 2 years or something like that. And so like that's the kind of thing, it's really exciting to me of like discovering new music now, because and I mean, like you kind of alluded to, there's like a little bit of a regret of like, man, I should have been doing this when I was like in my 20s or whatever. I would be much more well informed now, but whatever, can't look backwards. And so yeah, I mean, I'm discovering more new music now that I'm enjoying than I ever have like any period in my entire life.
Ian, what is it like for you, for someone that's listened to all the music that's ever been produced? What's it like for you to find? And I feel like it's hard for someone like you to find new music. And when you find it, you're like, bravo.
I feel like I've been like a music vampire my whole life. Like even since MTV would come on, and it would be like, some just poppy song, and you would just listen to it over and over until it almost lost its feeling. I do that so much with like singular songs and bands. And it's weird. I think on this a lot, like, like the first time I listened to death metal was either Leprosy by Death, if that's what I can consider, or definitely when Slowly We Rot came out. And that came out maybe in 1988, 89. I could be wrong. I'd have to look. But that was like the first time I heard death metal, when that came out. And it's so different from death metal of today that I wonder if I listen to something now and I'm just like, it just sounds like noise a lot of times. It's so unrelenting, which is cool, but it doesn't have the same, I don't know if there's a feel to it that bands like like all the RC death metal bands, like when Gore Guts came out with like Considered Dead, or Suffocation came out, Malevolent Creation, all those bands. It seems hard to find bands like that now. And I think my point is that when someone like, Nate says he's been listening to it for 2 years, if he listens to, Obituary's Cause of Death, does it hit someone like that the same way it hits me? Or is it kind of like there is this, and I don't want to say generational because it's not generational, but this is time gap of, this isn't as good as it is. It doesn't translate as well now as it did when I was a kid. Like even Sodom, like this band's amazing. They've been around since probably mid 80s. But does it translate nowadays? Like if someone listens to it who is so used to listening to what might be considered like, more modern thrash. So I think about that. I don't even know what your question was. So.
I don't care. I love just listening to you talk about music history. It's so like,
I don't know if that's what it is. I'm just older.
No.
I was lucky to get into it like when I was like 12, like in the mid 80s, I was so lucky to have fallen upon like subcultures like that, like straight edge. Like I went straight edge when I was 13 and just never looked back.
Right.
always been that way. I can't see myself not being that way. I was lucky to see those bands like coming out, like Judge, Gorilla Biscuits, Citizens Arrest, like the different kinds of like hardcore bands, Youth of Today, all these bands, 108, just that would come through, Inside Out, like before it was Rage Against the Machine, and
Wait,
I don't know.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Inside Out, that guy Zach De La Rocha's band before with songs like No Spiritual Surrender. Like there was this big kind of push for Krishna back in the early 90s with music, bands like Shelter. I can't think of a lot because 108 was a Krishna band.
Oh.
It was kind of like, I don't know if I wouldn't compare it to Christian metal or hardcore, but it definitely had its religious principles, but more of a like, I don't know. I liked the bands. I wasn't in the ideology of it much, but you have the guys wearing the Krishna beads. You could see any like early 90s hardcore band and they've got the beads like wrapped around their neck, and I had them.
Hey,
you fall into the little trends. But
I wore puka shells in high school.
same thing.
That was a
Same,
fad.
yeah.
So I don't wear them these days. Although I probably still have some. But
yes. But
man,
a cool thing about
go on. Sorry,
I was just gonna say like a cool thing about this band is that the total age range of the members spans 30 years. So like there's a ton of different reference points that get thrown around for sure. Yeah,
we have every generation.
Exactly.
We have the boomer, we have Gen X, we've got the millennial and Gen Z, right?
Holy cow, you've got the whole
Yahtzee.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yahtzee. Oh man, that's great. That's good.
So I mean it's cool that like Champ and Ian will throw stuff my way that I otherwise would have never heard, and Johnny will throw stuff that we would have never heard. It's pretty cool. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff to pull from.
Yeah, Champ is a wealth. He is the guy who like was trading tapes back in the 80s, 90s, probably just the most random hardcore and death metal tapes, just probably had that network of friends that's how they communicated before, the internet was
just
prevalent,
dudes,
just sending tapes.
Just dudes on the corner, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Johnny, you got anything?
Sorrow.
Selling sorrow.
Yeah. I didn't actually know that Nate's only been listening to death metal for 2 years. That's pretty awesome because he's really good at writing it.
Good, hell yeah, dude! I'm glad that we've shown another side of your bandmate here today.
Appreciate it.
The question was though.
I don't either. Just
something about music. Was it about music?
Yeah, about music.
Oh, it started with mixed bills and then Ian finding new music today because he's been basically. What is it like for you to find a new band, a new sound?
Yeah, man, I love discovering new bands. I try to do it a lot. I love like browsing Bandcamp and just finding stuff that like, hey, this like the title sounds kind of cool. I'll check this out. And you find some stinkers in there. Unfortunately, no disrespect, obviously. But like, I don't know. Some of my favorite bands I found doing that. Like when I was like a sophomore in high school, we had our little stupid like Chromebooks that the school gave us. Didn't really work, and I wasn't doing my classes. And I remember being on Bandcamp, and I found Glassing, like Austin band, homies, uncles, shout out. Love those dudes. But yeah, I discovered their album Light and Death in my English class in high school, and that is like a moment that changed my life. So I kind of feel like I've always been chasing that dragon of like finding the next like band that changes the way I think about everything, and like I think it's something I seek out. But then again, I don't know, to Nate's or I guess to both of their points, right? Like mostly with Ian, like I'm kind of understanding where he's coming from there on like I don't know how this will impact somebody the way it impacted me when it came out. But I don't know. I think it like holds different. I think like for somebody like Nate, like getting into death metal 2 years ago, if the very first time you ever hear like Bolt Thrower is 2 years ago versus like Ian heard them like when they dropped an album back in the day, probably, you know, and like there's a totally there's a totally it's a totally different like scenario for either person, but I think they both kind of in a different way hold the same value to the listener, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
That was a very good way to explain it. And I'm sorry for my outburst there, because I put the vision I had was like the two scenarios where you're like Nate discovering them bolt thrower 2 years ago. And I just have this vision of Nate just like pressing play. And there's like a camera. Oh, this is all happened as that whole conversation. There's a camera looking over Nate's shoulder at like the bolt thrower on Spotify. And then it cuts to Ian like paying a ticket to get into the bolt thrower show. Just because
it would be buying it on tape. I never got to see Bolt Thrower. I know Champ has.
So that, yeah, that's the, because you just said you have like the generational band, and I'm just like, new music now, new music before. What was the method of consumption? Cassette versus Spotify. What was the impact? Crazy. It's just, oh man, thank you for that visual. That was great. Oh my goodness. Woo! Sunday fun day, boys.
Yeah,
my Lord, I'm due.
But
for
I do discover new bands. I discover I get into weird stuff like Choir Boy. I've been into a lot of that kind of stuff. Provoker, that kind of weird. I don't even know how, is it Morrissey or Smith's adjacent in some way? I don't know how I would explain that, but the same way Johnny talks about it, a lot of times it could even be like social media wise. I think somebody posted a song. I heard a clip of a song. I have to hunt that song down now.
Yes.
You know, and that's led me to so many even weird things. Like I think they're the 7 sigils of like Memphis hip hop, which talks about like, and then I started listening to that weird stuff, Children of the Corn, these like, it almost sounds like the type of music where it's playing in another room and lights are broken on the ground, kind of flickering, and you've walked into this like creepy house. And that's what a lot of that type of music sounds like. But it's like, I am always on a hunt for, you know, just anything that emotionally gets me moving. But a lot of times it's always for like the most angry music I can think about, you know, and that's hard because everyone's heavy. Everyone has a slick production. Everyone is, you know, somebody had posted something about this, like, why are shows so bland? And it's like, because every night they're the same. You know, there's inner ear for the singer and drummer. Everything's to a click. Lights are perfect. Everything's the same. There's no chance for, you know,
Oops.
like, yeah, which that's why I think a lot of this stuff that we do or other people, it's still alive in other music, but it's anything could happen. You know, you could,
that's one of the things.
it still feels wild.
Yeah. Yes. I keep saying your style, and I don't want to like pigeonhole because the styles. It's your live set is what, like when I like, and I don't mean discredit when I hear other people. When I see a Cult Burner show, or basically when I see that Ian is playing, there's a high chance that I'm gonna try to make it to that show because I know that I'm going to see a show. Yes, the music's great. I want to see a show. And like you said, different bands have different, you know, methods of putting on a show with lights and clicks and all that jazz. And if that's how that music is supposed to be played and that's how you want it delivered, fucking full send. I'll be there supporting you through and through. But if band A wants to do it this way, there's nothing wrong with that. And there's no reason to like throw shade on anybody. Not that Ian is or I am. It's just we've all heard enough of it where it's just like, I think that's one of the things that I think we talked about earlier kind of separates us a little bit is that if you don't have this, then, you know, like, well, there's maybe some of these like 5-year-old conversations going on. I don't hear them as much anymore. I can tell you that much just from my end. There's not as much infighting. It's kind of like everything's kind of settled down and everybody's trying to hit their stride. So I have faith in the local community. Wow, my fucking light's going crazy.
I thought that was your camera.
it may be the camera adjusting to my to my face. I don't know. But anywho, I'm sorry, we're rambling here. We've almost hit our hour mark. Is there anything that we missed? Anything that you guys want to make sure the people know?
Well, I guess everybody's other bands, you know, Champ is in this band called Triage. Who is,
right?
yeah, basically, yeah, I think it's the other members live in Dallas, and they're very good grindcore. I mean, Champ is sort of like the, he is a purveyor of grindcore. He's back there in the scene. They were doing it a little different back then. I think that's why Kill the Client stuck out so much, is they were a bit, it just wasn't as just,
Gotta write that one down.
yeah, no, it's amazing band. They were on Relapse. Nate is in Plague Cross, which is, like he said, it's more of a kind of blackened hardcore, has almost like an organic feel to it, heavy, drummy. Johnny is in so many good bands as well.
Yeah, John, I'm
Godshell.
gonna dedicate a whole page to your projects, brother.
Yeah. Godshell, High Costa playing God. You playing This Will Destroy You as well. What is it? Yugoslavian Cop Fire?
Yugoslavia, Cops on Fire, 1984.
Yes.
I
hadn't even heard of that band. What the hell?
I think your bass player used to live above me when I was not living in a nice house.
No way. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
He's very nice.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Colton, he's the best. Yeah. Love
Yes,
that.
very nice guy.
Hey, shout out Colton.
Wait,
Yeah.
Does his last name start
Yeah.
with an
No.
M? Does his last name start with an M?
No.
Okay, wrong.
Yeah, I will say, like,
Yeah,
it's gonna sound like kissing Johnny's ass or whatever, but like his two bands, Godshell and the High Cost of Playing God, are like my two favorite bands in Austin.
Hey.
Actually, I went to go see. I mean, I went up to
brother.
Northwest Terror Fest, and Johnny's band Godshell was playing there, and that's kind of where we recruited him at Northwest. So I'm glad we have that like point in time, and that the amazing festival that is. It was cool to be able to kind of ask him there and just be like, but yeah, check out Godshell if you like Sumac or I don't know, is it fair to say like there's maybe even a little bit of Death Heaven thrown in there, if you like that kind of thing. Godshell is definitely
absolutely, dude. Oh my god, yeah.
Man, I think I'm just gonna have to interview Johnny by himself, and we'll just go over all 17,000 members and all the discography.
Do it, yeah.
But I think that's I think it's great.
Hopefully
that
my computer works.
Yeah. Oh, it's working fine. You're just kind of like right now. I feel like you're just treating you like the remote correspondent that's out in the hurricane. That's like, now to you, Johnny, and you're just staring at the camera, waiting for it to come in. And it's like, ring, 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 ring. And we're here live, Ryan. Thanks for joining us. It's a fucking shitstorm. Oh man, but guys, I've had an absolute blast. I love doing this. I love meeting new people. I don't know if Nate, Johnny, if we've ever met in previous passing. If we have, and I don't remember, I'm sorry, but that's just my brain. I do remember Ian. I love that guy, but he did shave his face. That kind of threw me off for a hot minute. So
I know. Just yesterday, I did a big run, and I was like, I can't run in this heat with this kind of beard.
Oh yes.
I don't know why I brought that up, but yeah, I did.
No.
He did openly. He openly admitted in the band text this morning that he forgot about this until I sent the link, and so it's like, would you have done it had you remembered? That's the question.
Shaved?
Yes, absolutely.
No,
Running?
I shaved yesterday. So yeah, I was tired of it. I don't know. I still look manly as hell without a beard.
You do have good bone structure, my friend. I'm telling you.
I'm just ugly. I can be ugly. I'm like,
you better be glad. You better be glad Champ's not here. He would be all over that statement.
Oh, he loves. He's just
man. Oh man. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll let you guys give your final shout outs, and Johnny will let you go first here in just a second. But and then after Johnny, Ian, Nate, you guys can go. But I just wanted to say first and foremost, thank you guys very much. It was a thrill to not only natively discover you, even though maybe the algorithm had a little to do with it, but however it worked out, I'm glad that I found, another new band, and you guys have given me a list of even more bands to go check out. And hopefully we can get them not only on the interview, but for those listening and watching, we do have a hour-long block, shameless plug here, and we'll get to Nate's shameless plug too. Whenever you're out and about, Sundays, 8 p.m. on No Control Radio, 93.7 HD2. It is the Texas Takeover, where it's an hour-long block curated by myself. And actually, it is a grassroots effort. I reach out to people. It's not just my playlist. Like, this playlist is built by the community for the community. And even if it sounds like it was recorded in a bathroom, I might play it a little later on in the show, but it will get played. I don't want anybody to be discouraged about how they record their music and how it sounds, because I know that you ultimately make it for you, and I want to share it as much as I can. So if you don't get played this week, just hang tight. I've got a whole vault. We'll get everybody in there. But we just played Poacher, I think, last week or the week before, if I'm not mistaken. And I get people that, the people that I send out the beta test to, I've actually had, it was one person. They were like, who's this Poacher? I was like, right here. Here's the link. Send them the Instagram. And that's what I want. I want to be able just to get more eyes on. I am just a vessel, or I might be the guy selling sorrow on the side of the street. But Johnny, I had to get it in one more time, dude.
Wilhelm scream.
Johnny, go ahead and give your final shout outs, your thank yous, and any social medias for anything that you do personally. And then we'll go around the room and finish out.
All right. Yeah. I mean, first of all, like, shout out to you, Ryan. Thanks for having us on. You and I haven't met in person ever, but I've known I've been aware of what you do around town and everything, and with the podcast
thanks,
and everything. I just really appreciate that. I think it's really cool to be a part of this. So, so thank you. Shout out to Champ. He's not here. He's busy. And shout out to Ian and Nate for being the coolest dudes and letting me play in this sick band, man.
Thanks for joining us.
I don't know, social media, like, all my bands, like, they're all in my Instagram bio, which I'm at Hat with a Propeller. Yeah, that's it. All lowercase. Yeah. All my bands are there. You can reach me there. I think I got to throw one or two more in and throw a couple out, but yeah, just check me out. What up?
Okay. Well, Hat with a Propeller. I love it. Okay. Who's next? Yeah. Ian?
I just always want to thank you. I'm so proud of you for that you've stuck with this for as long as you have, and now that you're breaking into radio, and that's so rad. And I'm just proud of you.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
So thank you for doing what you do.
We are on the radio. We are on the radio.
Yeah.
Nate, round us out, brother.
I guess first of all, thank you, Ryan, for having us. It's been a really good time. I will plug the show, Chess Club, July 10th, Imminent End, High Cost of Playing God. Who's the other one? Poacher and Chess Pain, of course. Yeah, there we go.
Shout out.
Shout out to Champ. Sorry you couldn't be here. I also kind of like to mention a couple things that I'm listening to. I like to shout out other bands. There's an amazing Sao Paulan death metal band named Fossilization that I've been waving the flag for this record all year. It's so good. It's like a death doom metal band. There's also an amazing band that I saw at Northwest Terror Fest called Oryx that is like a doom metal band that I really enjoyed. So
do you know how to spell that?
Records. Oryx.
Got it. Cool. Me liking new music. Hey, maybe we'll find some new stuff for Ian.
I find new bands all the time. Johnny Booth, that band really impressed me.
I was not on the Johnny Booth train early, but man, I'm glad I got on. That's some good stuff going on.
Yeah, so good.
Again, from me to you guys, thank you very much for pursuing your passion so that I could do mine. If it wasn't for guys like you and people like Johnny and 37 Projects, we wouldn't be able to experience this art. And I really think that's what it is. It is an art, that what you guys do. And so for everybody listening and watching, thank you very much. Support your local scene in any way that you can. Share their music, share their flyer. Definitely go to the shows. You don't have to go to all of them like we talked about before. But if you've got a couple bucks to spare, go to a show, $10, $12. I know that we talked about when I talked like Bat Lips, they said that they throw $10 shows at Chess Club. It's hard out there in the economy, so you gotta pick and choose when you go and what you buy. So if you do end up going to a local show and purchasing local music, I'll just say thank you for the whole community, because it it recycles right back in, and maybe they'll spend money at wherever you work. You know, maybe you're in the service industry or, you know, something to that effect. But it does help when we all contribute when we can. So with all that said, thank you very much for joining us. Guys, stick around. Let all this do the, you know, magic that it does. And until then, we love you. See you guys later.
Bye.
Thanks, Ryan.